All right, all right. Good morning, good morning. Glad you are here. I'm excited about our conversation this morning. So this gentleman who is joining us this morning, I have known now for, my heavens, it's been 11 years, I believe, John. Is that not correct?
Yeah, and I remember just a short time into that, maybe a couple of years, I attended Everest, your birthday party. You turned 40.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know, and now I'm over 40.
See, I told you you're getting older.
Yeah, no, I thought you were an old geezer.
Well, if I was an old geezer then, what am I now? That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. Hey, so I have a great story I want to start out with.
Let's do it. This is all about making certain that you get an opportunity to share your story and your thoughts. Because John, just if I can for a second, um, I remember the first time that I met you in the recruiting process, and you coming into the office, and I was thinking to myself, who the hell does this guy think he is? You remember that? And I remember when you left, I thought, man, this guy is not going to join. He is not going to be part of this company. And you surprised me. You came back. It was like you were bound and determined you were going to get your information and have a conversation. And I am so glad that you were so persistent. So it's been fun.
And you've talked about how much you've grown. I can attest to that.
Thank you.
Which is phenomenal. I remember that meeting. You used a ton of tie downs, and I hated that.
I love it. Very cool. Well, thank you for acknowledging that.
And so that's why you thought I wasn't going to join, but I knew you guys had stuff that I wasn't getting where I was.
Yeah. Well, it's been fun.
Okay. So the story I want to share with you, I was hanging out with a couple of my buddies, my pals, my friends, and we were playing cards. We were playing Texas Hold'em. Now, for the majority of you, you're probably going to say we weren't really, because there was no money on the table. It was just bragging rights. Uh, with that being said, this story folds into what we're going to talk about. So we were playing Texas Hold'em. One of my friends needed to excuse himself just right after we had dealt to go use the restroom. And so it's probably a good thing it wasn't real money, because my other friend said, let's stack the deck. And so we did. We stacked it so at the beginning, off the flop, off the first card that goes to everyone, he would have triples, which is a pretty decent hand. And then the next card, when it was flipped, it would show him to have a full house, which is an even better hand. And the last card that would be flipped would give him four of a kind, which is even better than a full house. But at the same time, it was going to produce a royal flush for me.
Of course it was.
Right. Well, and so we played that out. He was very confident. When the last card was done, he didn't even hesitate. He went all in. And so, and I knew what was going on, but I didn't want to give it away. So I hemmed and I hawed and I scratched my head. And then I'm like, yeah, I'll call you. I'm all in. And he's like, oh my goodness. He starts raking the chips and pulling them towards himself. I'm like, hold on. What are you doing? He's all, I got four of a kind. I'm all, that's great. I got a royal flush. He gets up, he's all mad, he's hopping at he just about storms out of the house because he's ticked. And then my other friend Eldon, he's all, hold on, hold on, hold on. We stacked the deck.
Well, at least you admitted it, John.
Yeah, and all of a sudden he's not quite so flustered. So the reason I wanted to share that story is how often or have you lately heard in life the phrase life's not fair or the deck is stacked against me. How often do we hear something like that?
Absolutely. People say it all the time.
Right. And with that being said, we should always be playing with a stacked deck. Let's just stack it in our favor.
Okay, so how do we do that?
Yeah, great question. So you'll probably remember. So the day after Site interviewed me, I came over. I joined Morning Ascent, and they said, "Would you like to listen to people make phone calls?" And I'm all, "No, give me a list. Let me make some calls. I'm here to make money. Let's get busy." And you remember that?
I do remember that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what? After a number of weeks, I wasn't making headway on the phone calls. I was getting nothing, zilch, squat, and I had Syed, George Morse, other people listening on me. There were a lot of people that were saying, "Why are you calling me? Are you drunk?" Just because I have cerebral palsy and I sound differently, and they'd hang up on me.
I
And
remember that.
yeah, and John Side told me, "John, you got to put the elephant on the table. It's in the room. Put it on the table." And I really, I I've always lived my life as if I'm normal. I know cerebral palsy isn't a normal condition, but it is for me.
Yeah.
And so I've never put the elephant on a table, and it is uncomfortable. So instead of having to tell myself to put the elephant on the table, I I stacked the deck. I went door knocking. And that automatically put the elephant on the table because they could see it. And they could see that. So it put the elephant on the table so much. I knocked on a door. I remember this. It was, um, I'm glad I don't live in California. Just I'm probably saying more than I should. Anyway, I knocked on this gentleman's door. He opened it up. I asked him if he had any thoughts of moving. He's all, "Well, no, actually, I'm renting." I'm all, "Really? Have you thought about buying?" He's all, "Well, I'm on." I mean, we had our conversation. He's all, "Can I ask you a question?" And I'm all, "Yeah, sure. What?" He's all, "What's your disability?" So I shared with him. And he said, "Wow, my hat is off to you because your disability's got to be worse than mine. And I'm sitting on my butt on my couch collecting disability checks.
Yeah.
Man, you are motivational. Can I give you a hug?"
Hmm.
And I was, uh, I didn't know what to say. Jesus said love everyone. So
So you took the hug, didn't you?
Well, yeah, everyone likes to be acknowledged and appreciated.
Yep.
So yeah, I took the hug. I mean, didn't mean anything other than that, but yeah,
Right.
yeah. So, so when it comes to I mean, I've had lots of people say, my wife and lots of other people, and I get sick of hearing it. I can't wait till next year. I can't wait till life gets normal.
Mm,
How many times have we all heard that this year?
right. Or said it ourselves, right?
So my for me, cerebral palsy is never going away. It's normal.
Yeah.
It's normal. Game on. Let's be happy right now. Why wait?
I love it. What a great
Why
statement, John.
wait? Let's be happy right. My other thought on that was when the Great Depression happened. How long did it take for life to be normal again? A decade?
Right.
Or Vietnam, or World War One, World War Two, or the Korean War? How long did it take? And we're wanting COVID to be over in 1 year. I mean, that'd be nice. I'm so the reason I'm bringing this up is one of your favorite studies. Oh, why is my mind slipping? He was prime minister during World War II.
Oh, yeah. Winston
Churchill.
Churchill. Right.
Churchill. Yeah. He point blank said, be optimistic, but at the same time, know what the truth is,
Yeah.
or something like that.
Right.
He's all, don't be naive. You got to know what's going on, but at the same time, be optimistic. So with that being said, let's go back to your first question. How do you stack the deck in your favor? And there is always going to be a way to do so. If I was going on a listing appointment and I knew that they'd already met with you, John Syed,
Mm-hmm.
what do you think I'd do?
Well, that's a really good question. I think you'd probably make certain that you knew my record. I know that. Um, I don't know. You tell me what you would do. I don't know. Find my Achilles heel. Take me
So
down.
so so let's role play. You be the seller.
Okay.
Hey, I met with John Syed, and I think I'm going to go with him.
So John, we met with an agent actually with your company by the name of John Syed. Pretty good looking guy, pretty smart. We're thinking we might list with him.
Yeah, no, I agree. He's a good looking guy. That's why I've shaved my head too. So and I'm curious, when you choose an agent you're working with, do you want someone that can pick up and answer your phone calls, or do you want someone that's training so many thousands of agents that you have a hard time getting to your phone calls?
Well, I want my phone calls answered, no question. Yeah.
Right, for sure. And you want your home sold and represented by a high-powered company.
Of course, you bet.
Right. Well, I work for the same company, and I'm almost just like John Five. My name's John too. The only thing is I got time to answer your phone calls. How's that sound?
Well, it sounds good. So you're saying he's going to be too busy to answer my calls?
Well, if there's anything I can't handle, which I'd be surprised, I can go to John Syed and he'll still be involved. He'll still get paid on this because I work in his company. but ultimately you're going to get the individual time and attention you deserve, and you're going to get your home sold for top value.
Makes sense.
Great. So no matter what the situation is, brand new agent, a lot of people are going to say, well, I'm too new. You have a lot of time and you have a lot of excitement, which us experienced agents need to work to have.
So what I hear you
So,
saying is that to take a look at what you have and don't look at as a drawback or a disability, a shortcoming, and see it in a positive light. Turn it into a positive, into a power, into a benefit.
yeah, and then absolutely, absolutely. So you were here, you observed it for a while. I was very upset at my God, my maker,
Mm-hmm.
because I thought he had cursed me with cerebral palsy.
Right.
I did not know the truth, and I thought he had cursed me. And because of that, now I've always been bold, and I could get a date with just about anyone. But but going beyond the first date or the I'd never get more than 4 dates because I believed I was cursed. But when I realized the truth and I started talking about stacking the deck, or about winning despite obstacles, all of a sudden, I mean, you've met my wife.
Yeah.
Just last week, we celebrated our 5th year anniversary.
That is awesome. Congratulations, John. Yeah.
So, I
I,
mean, if cerebral palsy, when viewed correctly, is an asset, and that's why I truly believe that my God and my Maker said, I got a gift that is designed exactly for you.
so what was it in that journey that created that moment? What was the moment where you went from having the attitude that this is a disability, you've been afflicted, to no, it's not. It's a gift. It is who I am, and I accept it, and I can actually leverage it, because it in so many ways, it's, people don't know this, but you, George, and I, and several other guys, we get it up in the morning and play basketball on the court. And when I say play basketball, I mean we played basketball. It was rough. It was ready. It was like we were working to get picked up by the NBA, sort of serious stuff. And you're
No,
out there
I know
playing ball
you.
with us.
I know you ran right over me once.
I remember that. You did fall like a sack of potatoes. I was concerned, but you're out there with guys, who weigh as much as 275 pounds, and guys that are 6'3", 4, 5, and playing basketball with us. What I'm interested, and I know everybody is, because you're talking about these great principles, but what happened? How did you transition from this guy who was a victim to a guy who said, no, I'm not. This is not an affliction.
So great question, and really what it was I was miserable. I was unhappy. I was very upset, and I come from a religious background. So yesterday I spoke to my wife's a school teacher. I spoke to a bunch of kids. Well, I can bring that up. Let me get right to the point. I was reading in spiritual text, and there was a verse of scripture that just God grabbed me and said, "Hey, this the way you're looking at this is not the way it is. I need you to know, and I need you to understand the way it is." So the religious text that I read, There was a prophet in the American continent. He, he was very good at speaking, but he was not good at writing. And he was writing what I'm reading and worried that people would not take his word seriously. And so God shared this with him, and because he wrote it down, shared it with me. And it said, if men come unto me, I will show unto them their weaknesses. We all have them. I mean, it's called the human condition. It's why we're here.
Right.
Just like you talked about, when an apple gets squoze or when an orange gets squoze, what comes out? When we get squoze, and I need to work on that because honestly, I I I know what I'm talking about. I understand it, but I'm talking about it because I need it.
Yeah, we all do.
I need it. And life has squozed me this year, and I've experienced more anger this year than I'm used to dealing with, which means I need to fix that.
Yeah.
So let me continue what this verse said. It said, I give unto men weakness that they may be humble. And my grace is sufficient for all men that humble themselves before me. For if they humble themselves before me and have faith in me, then will I make weak things become strong unto them. And the most powerful line for that of that is not that he will make weak things strong unto them. It's I give unto men weakness. I being God. And God is deity, which means whatever our weakness is, it is a divine gift.
Yeah, it's a great way to look. It's a great way to look at it. It's
Divine
and
gift.
and the important word is gift, right? And
Right.
and I think for people to listen to that say, well, wait a minute, that just doesn't make any sense. But I take a look at what you have done and how you look at your cerebral palsy, or what you call CP, and you treat it that way. That there's that shift that you made from I'm a victim, how could God do this to me? And then the impact that it had, right? The power that you gave it, versus this shift of no, this is a gift, and you took the power back, right? And then you go out and you leverage it.
Well, John, I'm very glad that I'm on this call with you. I love being with George as well. But what happened in '07 and '08 with you, and where was your mindset going? And you had to shift that as well
Without question.
to be where you are now. I mean, talk about that a little bit.
Well, I mean, so I think that everybody was having a tough time there financially, but I had, accumulated a really good estate. I had, millions of dollars, a lot of money in the bank, and nice house and nice cars, and things were good. A lot of money in, surrounding me. And over the course of 18 months, it all disappeared. And
well, you just built your childhood dream house.
I did 8,500 square feet. It was beautiful.
Of about $4 million up in
That's right.
City, right?
That's right.
And unfortunately, you had to sell it. And I remember you talking, and you had more headaches, and you had this, and you self-diagnosed. You had a brain tumor. And
I did. I had a brain tumor, I had throat cancer, and I had multiple sclerosis, among some other things.
And thank goodness you restacked the deck. Otherwise, you'd be dead.
That's exactly right. It's so true. I mean, it goes back to, what we focus on, the way we look at things. It reminds me of the phrase, John, see things as they are, not worse than they are, right?
Right.
And see things as you want them to be. And oftentimes our circumstances change just like that, not because the external things have changed, but just simply the way we see things, the way we interpret things, the things that we focus on. And that's really what you're talking about,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly. What we're talking about is the power to change things like that.
Right.
And I know you're going to say, well, it's not that easy. It doesn't change overnight. Believe me, I wallowed in that self-pity a lot longer than I should have. Once I realized the truth, so when I realized the truth, I was about 34, 35, somewhere in there. Up until that time, I'd only been asked out by a woman twice. And you guys, if you're old fashioned, you'll say, John, well, it's your job anyway. And that's true. But once I made that shift, in under 6 or 9 months, I got asked out 4 times.
Isn't that interesting? That's a very powerful recognition. It just speaks to that idea that as you shift your focus, you shift your energy, right? You attract a much different result. Your reality becomes much different.
Yeah. So I realize we're getting close, and there is a story that I love to share.
Please do.
And I know that there are several powerful examples of people who stack the deck, such as Gandhi and Oprah Winfrey, and just the list goes on and on and on. The person I really like to talk about is Colonel Sanders. And I'm very blessed because the absolute first KFC is right here in Utah, and it has all kinds of memorabilia. I wish I was doing the Zoom at that location so I could show you. With that being said, I mean, Colonel Sanders was retired military. He had a station wagon, a recipe for chicken, and his retirement check, and that was it. And he went person to person to person, pitching his chicken.
Mm-hmm.
And it just floors me. How many people told him no? 1,009. 1,009 told him no. It was the 1,010 that finally told him yes.
And the crazy thing is he kept track of that, John.
Yeah, no. Right. Well, I'm glad he did because it gave me hope.
Yeah.
And when I was dating, I didn't keep track of that. Well, I'm all, oh my goodness, someone's gonna think I'm a lot better than a bucket KFC. I gotta keep going. And when we stack the deck and we show up for a listing appointment or whatever the situation is, they're all, oh my goodness, I've never had this bucket before. Give me more.
So, John, I love this. I want to ask you a question because if you boil down the theme of the conversation this morning, or really what we've been talking about mindset. So, a lot of people will say that you're very inspiring, and you're very inspiring because you have what you would call a gift, the gift being CP, because it's your normal. And yet people have all sorts of issues. They have all sorts of challenges. And here you are, and you maintain such a positive attitude. And it doesn't mean that you don't have challenges. You don't suffer, mentally. We all do. You're human, right? But how is it that here's a guy. How long have you been in real estate now? I know I've known you for over 11 years, but how long have you been in real estate?
So my first job was a loan officer, and that started the summer of '04. And I got my real estate license. I don't remember. It was either '08 or no, I know. Wait, I do know. The first house I sold was December of '08.
Oh, wait. Okay. So you've been doing this for 12 years.
Well, I've been in the industry for 16.
Okay. In the industry for 16. Not an easy industry to be in, very challenging, right?
Right.
And here you are, not only surviving, but thriving. You know, you own investment properties as well, obviously, as your own home. You went from being a single guy, you know, who wasn't getting asked out to being asked out, and then being married for 5 years now. How is it that you maintain such a positive attitude? How do you stay on top of things? How do you, from a mental standpoint, what are you doing? Share with everybody what it is that you do that allows you to maintain this positive attitude.
So I had a fantastic opportunity yesterday. My wife's a school teacher. She asked me to present to 6 of her classes about being real estate agent and a real estate investor. And she wanted me to share that I have a morning meeting with a motivational message, and I do affirmation because her class is in West Valley, and this is the west side of town, and they're just in a lot of hard situations, whether it's refugees, single parent families, parents work 3 to 4 jobs. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So she wanted me to share that, and I'm like, oh my goodness, most people think these affirmations are hokey, and you want me to share that. So I had to ask the class a question before I shared that. I said, so my job is to help people make great decisions. That's my job. How am I going to be helping people make great decisions if I had a bad morning and I had a flat tire, or I brushed my teeth and got my tie, or I was driving to work, someone flipped me off. If I'm sad or whiny, or am I going to be really good at helping people make great decisions?
No.
And that's what they all answered. And they said, and so then it was very easy to share with them. And so I asked them, I said, we write down 10 things we're grateful for. And can you be whiny if you're grateful?
Yeah.
Can you be mad if you're grateful? Can you be upset if you're grateful?
Right. And the answer, of course, is no. So
Right.
ultimately, what you're saying is that the focus on our gifts, on the things that we have been given, as opposed to focusing on our challenges or the things that we feel are not fair. In other words, it's just simply a shift in what you focus on a daily basis. And as you said, as you were sharing something earlier in the conversation, the reason you're saying these things is because you need to say it for you. You need to hear it yourself because you're human, right?
Yeah. So ultimately, what it comes down to is if the deck is stacked against you, you got to re-examine it
Yeah.
and find out why or how can I be grateful for this.
Right. Right.
And
So it's not being.
that's a really challenging question. It's not fun sometimes. Honestly, sometimes I don't want to ask it.
Right. Right. Well, because it is a difficult question to ask, but you know, we all have situations in our lives where when the thing happened, the quote unquote bad thing happened, the challenge happened, We were not happy. We were angry. We were sad. We were frustrated, all of the negative emotions that we can experience. And then looking back years later on that situation, being very grateful that it happened. I'm very grateful that in 2008, 2009, I lost everything. And I really mean that, because it taught me so many great lessons, and it gave me an opportunity to be where I am today. And you and I, I absolutely firmly believe this. You and I would not be having this conversation had I not lost everything in 2009. And when I say you and I having this conversation, meaning all of this, it wouldn't have happened.
No, correct. So just like me and everyone out there, we didn't really want to go through this, and we weren't asked to go through it again. But at the same time, we wouldn't change it.
No, and haven't we learned something? Right? I mean, it's always through our challenges that we grow, that we learn, that we become more, so that we can go to the next level. So, and you're such a great example of that, John. Over the years, it's I don't know of anybody who does a better job of not playing the role of a victim, because what I would say is that you, more than many, not more than most, but more than many, there are others who would have greater challenges, but you have some greater challenges than others when it relates to, you know, your physical self. And yet, as you said, and the theme is that you just stack the deck. You look at the hand that you've been dealt, and you change the way that you look at it, right? And therefore everything for you changes. You've changed the way you look at it, and as a result, things have changed for you. And I watch that for you as you know, in that personal journey, as we spent a lot of time together, how your attitude shifted, how your business shifted, how your life changed. You went from being a single guy who was very negative about, you know, the dating scene, and about being very pessimistic about whether you were ever going to find somebody. And here you are 5 years into an amazing, beautiful relationship with an amazing, beautiful woman.
Right. So, and we are in an absolutely amazing industry. Something else I shared with the class is I quoted Zig Ziglar. If you get enough people what they want, you can have anything you want.
Yeah.
And how can you not be happy when your job is to make other people happy?
Yeah. Well, as you said, though, John, it really starts with being grateful for what you have, the hand that you've been dealt, all of it, right? And
Right.
and really just, you know, coming from a position of gratitude, because what a powerful position to be in. You know, to be, Jim Rohn said this over and over again in my ear, to be both ambitious and content. Be content with who you are and the gifts that you've been given, but then be ambitious enough to go out and improve. And it's only through our challenges that we face that we get better. So, and you're such a great example of that, John. So thank you so much for joining us this morning, and for sharing not only, you know, your wisdom, but just being authentic and being willing to come in and share, you know, the fact that you've had challenges, that you work through them, and you continue to have challenges, and yet you succeed at a high level. It's very inspiring. So thank you for taking the time to spend with us to be inspiring.
Yeah, I love adding back to the Everest family, and feel very grateful to just be a small part of it. And yeah.
Well, I don't know exactly which one you are, but I got to believe that you're probably one of the top 50.
I was the number 50.
Number 50. So the 50th agent in Everest, which is very cool. Yeah. That's great. Well, John, I'm looking forward to at least another 11 years associating with you. So thank you so much for your time this morning. And
11 years, are you dying?
No, I'm not dying. By the way, I just want you to know, I carved a pumpkin this week, and guess who I thought of as I was carving my pumpkin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll be carving one a little later too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, that's great. John and I used to every year carve pumpkins with my kids and the family. It was very good. A great tradition. So, John, thank you so much.